Hello students, today I am going to teach about the second part of the selfish giant. In the second part, that selfish giant, some old-fashioned English also has been used. So that I am going to write the meaning of that. You also that want to have like the word THEE and THOE. These two words. This is an old-fashioned English. It means, in a modern English, that it means you. Then the word thy, then thine. Thy and thine. It means yours. Then the word DOTH or DOST. Dost. DOTH or DOST. Dost. It means do, does. These are the happy words. The word HADH, had. It means that it has, have, had. The word ART, art means is, are, am. Suppose one question is like who are you? Who are you? It means who are you. So this is an old-fashioned English. So art means that is helping word art. Who are you? It means that who are you. So these are the old-fashioned English. It has been used in the part 2 of the selfish giant, and the old-fashioned English that it has been used. So in the modern English, that what exactly the meaning is, that I have highlighted in this. That is the word THEED or thou. It means that is you. THY and THINE, thine. It means it is yours. The word dost or dost. It is a helping verb. It means do, does. The word HATH, hat means that is in modern English has, have or had. The word ART, it means is, are, am. So one question that I have written here in old fashioned, who are you? It means art means that is, are, anything. So that I have written that is or are, but so along with you that are is written. So who are you? Like that. So in the first part, the saying was that when the giant awoke from his sleep, he heard some sweet music into his own garden, and he imagined that the king's magician must be singing. But as he looked out from the window, then he saw that there was a winged bird which was singing into the garden of the giant. So he became very surprised. This much that we had already discussed. Now from the second part. He saw a most wonderful sight. through a little hole in the wall, the children had crept in, and they were sitting in the branch of the trees. In every tree that he would see, there was a little child, and trees were so glad to have the children back again that they had covered themselves with blossoms and were waving their arms gently above the children's heads. The birds were flying about, the twittering with delight, and the flowers were looking through the green grass and laughing. It was a lovely scene. Only in the corner it was still winter. It was the farthest corner of the garden, and in it was standing a little boy. He was so small that he could not reach up to the branches of the tree, and he was wandering all around it, crying bitterly. The poor tree was still covered with frost and snow, and the north wind was blowing and roaring about it. "Climb up, little boy," said the tree, and it bent its branches down as low as it could. But the boy was too tiny, and the giant's heart melted as he looked out. "How selfish I have been," he said. "How I know why this praying that would not come here. I will put that poor boy on the top of the tree, and when I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be the children's playground for ever and ever." He was really very sorry for what he had done. So he crept downstairs and opened the front door quite softly and went out into the garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened that they all ran away, and the garden became winter again. Only the little boy did not run, for his eyes were so full of tears, and he did not see the giant coming. And the giant stole up behind and took him gently in his hands, put him up into the tree, and the tree broke at once into blossom, and the birds came and sang on it, and the little boy stretched out his two arms and flung them round the giant's neck and kissed him. And the other children, when they saw that the giant was not wicked any longer, came running back, and with them came the strain. "It is your garden now, little children," said the giant, as he took a great axe and knocked down the wall. And when the people were going to market at 12 o'clock, they found the giant playing with the children in the most beautiful garden they had ever seen. So, after coming out from the door, the giant actually saw a wonderful sight. And in fact, what had happened, that there was a small hole into the garden, and from there all the little children had came down into it and they started playing. So there was a miracle, that since all the children ran into the garden through that small hole of the wall, then everything changed over there. The hailstorm stopped blowing. There was no winter at all. Everywhere there was spring. Everywhere that the flowers were also blooming. Why? Just because of that, the entering of all the children in the garden. So even that not only the human beings, even that the nature also loved the children very well. They also wanted that the children should come to the garden and play, so that the trees, the flowers, then the grass, everything that would look very happy, because that the children very innocently were playing over there. So there that it so happened, but there was still in the one corner of the garden, there was still winter, and the frost, the hailstorm, were also growing over there. So the giant actually that saw there was a very little boy who was trying to climb upon the tree, but he could not. So even that the trees also became very weak, very meek, M-E-E-K, meek. Meek means very gentle. The trees also wanted that child also to climb upon the tree, so that the branches of the tree that bent down to support the child. But however, the child could not climb upon the tree. It was crying very bitterly. So by looking this, the giant heart melted. The giant's heart changed. He also understood the real importance of the children. So he stole up, it means that is hidingly. He hidingly went to the child over there. And by seeing this, when that the other children were playing, they became very frightened and they all ran away. But the giant simply went to that little child and he lifted the child upon the tree, and so that the child was also able to climb upon the tree. As the child climbed upon the tree, then that part also, that it became so gentle and very beautiful. There the hail stopped blowing, the winter also that came and came, and everywhere there were the full of flowers, the full of the new life, and everywhere there was spring. When the other children saw this actually that happened, the other children also thought about the selfish giant, that how selfish giant became a very gentle towards the children. So again, that all the children that ran inside the garden, and everywhere, every corner of the garden, that it became so gentle, so beautiful, with the full of flowers, the full of the new life, that even that the tree also had appeared with the new tender leaves, the green leaves. So that tree also became very happy. They started actually that playing with the boys also, with the children also. So that little boy, what did he do? The little boy that hugged him, embraced him, and kissed him. So by kissing, that the selfish giant also was very happy to see the behavior of the innocent child. And then after, the giant announced that this is not exactly that my garden, it is your garden. You can come and play any time into my garden. And what did he do? That he knocked down the walls of the garden, and the people during afternoon, while they were crossing over there, they saw that the children were actually playing into the garden, and so that the people also became very surprised to see this activity done by the selfish giant. So now the selfish giant actually that became a very with the soft heart, and the giant also became very friendly with respect to those all the innocent children. Now second paragraph I am reading. All day long they played, and in the evening they came to the giant to bid him the goodbye. But where is your little companion? He said, the boy I put into the tree. The giant loved him the best because he had kissed him. We don't know, answered the children. He has gone away. You must tell him to be sure to come tomorrow, said the giant. But the children said that they did not know that where he lived and had never seen him before. And the giant felt very sad. Every afternoon when school was over, children came and played with the giant. But the little boy whom the giant loved was never seen again. The giant was very kind to all the children, yet he longed for the little friend and often spoke to him, "How I would like to sing." He used to sing. Years went by and the giant grew very old and feeble. He could not play about anymore, so he sat in a huge armchair and watched the children at their games and admired his garden. "I have many beautiful flowers," he said, "but the children are the most beautiful flowers of all." So thereafter, that since then, all the children that they started coming when their school was over, they started coming to the garden and they actually were playing very well over there. Even the giant also played with him. But actually that the little boy who had kissed him, that impressed the giant very well. So especially that the giant actually wanted to meet him. But that little boy was nowhere seen. So the giant actually that became very sad. He wanted to talk to him. He wanted to look him again. He asked many children about the living, but the children were unable to give the answer like that, where exactly that little child was living. So every day the giant actually that was waiting for the child to come into the garden. And so on, that the years went by. And now the giant also became very old. Now he could not play with the children. So he sat on the armchair, and from there only that he started watching the play of the children. But still, he was very much longing. The word long, L-O-N-G. Long is an adjective also, and it is a verb also. So that is long means, that is a certain kind of that this wall is very long, so long is adjective. But even the long means, that is in Hindi we can call that we are having a great eagerness. The word long, which is a verb, it means having great eagerness. So the giant had great eagerness to meet the little child, that the little child actually had kissed him. So he had been waiting for the child to come into the garden. But years went by and the little children was seen nowhere. One winter morning, he looked out of the window as he was dressing. He did not hate the winter now, for he knew that it was merely the spring or spring, and that the flowers were resting. Suddenly he rubbed his eyes in wonder and looked. It was certainly a marvelous sight. In the farthest corner of the garden was a tree quite covered with the lovely white blossoms. Its branches were golden and silver fruits hung down from them, and underneath it stood the little boy he had loved. Downstairs ran the giant in great joy, and out into the garden he hastened across the grass and came near to the child. And when he came quite close to his face, grew red with anger, he said, "Who hath dared to wound thee?" For the palms of the child's hands were the prints of the two nails, and the prints of the two nails were on the little fish. "Who hath dared to wound thee?" said the giant. "Tell me, that I may take the big sword and slay him." "Nay," answered the child, "but these are the bones of love." "Who art you?" said the giant. and a strange awe fell on him, and he knelt before the little child. And the little child smiled on the giant and said to him, "You let me play once in your garden. Today you shall come with me to my garden, which is paradise." And when the children ran in that afternoon, they found giant lying dead under the tree, all covered with the blossoms. So, as the giant very impatiently, with a great eagerness, he wanted to meet that the little child after so many years, that the giant actually in the morning that he saw that the same little boy that who had come and was playing over there, he could not believe upon his eyes. It was really a miracle. The word miracle meant that is chamatkar. That how did it happen so? So the giant actually could not stop himself, and he ran towards the little boy. And that little boy actually, that in the farthest, in the corner of the garden, that he was playing over there. And all the flowers were also had bloom over there. So when the giant, in a very happy mood, that reached quite near to the boy into the garden, then after that he saw that some face of that little boy had become red. By seeing this, the giant also became very angry, and he asked the boy that who had done to you that this kind of a mischief? Please tell me, then definitely I will slay him. S-L-A-Y, slay. Slay means kill. So giant became so angry that he wanted to kill that particular person that who had actually given the harm to the little child. That little child's, that palm, the hands were also painted with the 2 nails. And the 2 nails were with the same on the little feet also. So the selfish giant actually that he became very angry, and he wanted to know from the little child that who had done this kind of a mischief to the little child. He wanted to kill him with his own sword. But the little child said that no, N-A-Y, nay. Nay means that is negative word, that is no. These all that he said, these all the wounds, actually wounds means that is jakham. So these all the wounds are of love. Then after that, the old-fashioned English that Giant had asked, who are you? That is, who are you? So art is old-fashioned English, that is, who are you? Then the giant actually that asked, then the little child smiled and said to the giant, that once that you had allowed me to play in your garden, so today that you please come with me. I will take you to my own garden, and my garden is of paradise. Paradise means heaven. My garden is heaven. And when at last when all the children ran away into the afternoon, that they found, what did they find? They found that giant was lying dead, and that everywhere that it had covered with the white blossoms, the white flowers everywhere was there. So at last the selfish giant's heart changed, and he became quite gentle with respect to the children, because that he understood the real value of the presence of children. It is children only that if we look towards the children, even though we are very sad, that we become very happy to see his innocent face. So this is the real importance of the children. So everyone should love the child in all respect. Thank you.